So welcome back. I'll just wipe the number 7. We'll move on to number 8. Number 8. On the A part of number 8, it says we should divide the two algebraic fractions here, and we'll have to divide. Please divide x squared minus 4 over x squared, and I think it's plus x is written there, by the next. So let me just write the division sign. You're dividing by x squared minus 4x plus 4 over x plus 1. Divide this. Now here's what to do. If the division becomes multiplication, this is the owner of the division sign, it takes its reciprocal form. And you have x squared 2x over x, and over here you're going to have x plus 1 by factorization. Now times x plus 1 over x squared minus 4x plus 4. Now for difference of two squares, you have x minus 2, you have x plus 2 all over x times x plus 1, and over here you have x plus 1, and factorization leads you to x minus 2, x minus 2. If you factorize x squared minus 4x plus 4. Now, if you're interested in knowing how to factorize quadratic expressions, you could just send me a message and you'll be put through. And if you're just new here, please like, subscribe, and you can share the video. So observing what we have here, x plus 1 cancels out with this, and x minus 2 goes with this. That leaves you with x plus 2 over this x times x minus 2. And there you go. That's your answer. Please, if you're new here, you can like, you can subscribe. Please subscribe and feel free to share the video. Now the next question says, show the region on a graph that satisfies the following inequalities. Show the region on the graph that satisfies the following inequalities. That's a B part now. The inequalities are y minus 2x less than or equal to 4. You have 3y plus x is greater or equal to 6. And you have y is greater or equal to x minus 9. Okay, so these are the 3 inequalities we'll be sorting out. We'll find the region that satisfies the 3 of them. Now to do this, here are some protocols to observe. Just 3 protocols. First of all, be sure of the nature of the line. If you have such less than or equal to or greater than or equal to, then it means the lines will be solid, they will be thick, unbroken. But if you don't have the equal to, then you have broken lines. We call it dotted lines or dashed lines. So in this case, the lines are solid. They're all thick lines. Now permit me to call this the first, call this the second, and let's call this the third. And I may want to you join me as we demarcate the board into 3. We have this column for one of them and this column for the other. Okay, sorry, let me readjust. Okay, for the first, we've identified the nature of the line. So the next thing you want to do is you would make y the subject of the inequality to know which region is required for each inequality. Make y the subject. You see y the subject of the formula. Or here are inequalities. So for the first, y is equals 4. Sorry, y is less than or equal to 4 plus 2x. Now in this case, since y is less than or equal to 4 plus 2x, it means the region that is required is below the line, is below. So please, if you're new here, subscribe, like and share the video, share the live. Okay, so we've identified that. Now, let's go back to the so the required region is below the line. It has been identified from the inequality below. Whenever I say less than, it means something that is below, under, and just think of other synonyms like behind, backwards, and so on. So the next you want to do is let y minus 2x be equals 4. So we're having the equation so that we can find 2 points at least in which the line passes through. 2 points. And there you go. I would always love to use a table. Your x and y. And in the table, let's start with 2 points. Now take x to be 0 and y 0. Now if x is 0, impute 0 here, and what becomes of y? 2 times 0 is 0, right? So you're going to have 4 left. That's y is equals 4. And then do the same. If y is 0, then x will be what? Let's check. Minus 2x is equals 4. And then you divide by minus 2. So x is going to be minus 2. That means we have minus 2 here. The first has been done. Let's do the same for the second. You have 3y plus x is greater or equal to 6. 3y plus x is greater or equal to 6. Now, as usual, you want to make y the subject. So first of all, you have 3y is greater or equal to 6 minus x. Now, seeing that the coefficient of y is 3, divide through by 3. So you have y is greater or equal to 6 minus x over 3. So the required region is above the line. The required region is above the line. Now let's move on to finding 2 points at least on which the line could be drawn. And as usual, we get your table. And remember, let 3y plus x be equals 6. So we're having the equation, the equivalent equation of this. And you call these x and y and have at least 2 points. If they turn out to be 0 both, you'd include a third column. Now, if x is 0, what is y? And if y is 0, what is x? If x is 0, y is going to be 3y because it has 2, because you divide both sides by 3. And if x is 0, then, sorry, if y is 0, then x is simply 6. Okay, so we've gotten our 2 points from the first. Now moving on to the third. You have y greater or equal to x minus 9. Okay, so that means the region has been given already, and since it's above, then we'll say the required region is above the line. Now the next thing is, let y be x minus 9. Let y be x minus 9. You have a table x and y. So if x is 0, what is y? Y is going to be minus 9. And if y is 0, x is going to be 9. And hence you've gotten 2 points for each. So in this case, for the first, you can call it this 0, 4 and minus 2, x, y, x, y. And here you have 0, 2 and 6, 0. While here you have 0, minus 9 and 9, 0. So permit me to wipe the board, and then we'll be left with the equations and the lines. Okay, but just remember the region above for the first, the second is the region. So the region below for the first, the second is the region above, and the third is the region above. And do well to jot them down, because I'll be wiping the board. And so you'll be depending on your notes. You can pause the video and then jot. Now let's have our graph this way, the Cartesian plane. Let's calibrate it. On the x-axis, I'll call this 2, 4, 6, 8, and 10. The 0. Then on the y-axis, you have -2, or sorry, you have 2, 4, 6, 8, you have -2, -4, -6, -8, -10. Now this is rough, this is sketch. I could get a graph and just place it here so I would see the reality, but that will be done maybe subsequently. And the door is open for any support. If anyone wants to support, the door is open. Feel free. And just know that the blessings of the Lord will not elude you to come your way. You can do that through several means. Pray, you can pray that this goes on well. You can support financially, support morally, even with your subscription, you're supporting. Then you can go beyond that too. Okay, so the first inequality which we made an equation to get a line, you have the 2 points. The first, because for the first one, which is y, or let's put it this way, for y minus 2x greater or less than or equal to 4, the points are 0, 4, and -2, 0. I hope that's what you have. For the second, you have 3y plus x is greater or equal to 6. And then the next, which is y greater than x minus 9. So in these cases, the next we have 0, 2, and we have 6, 0. And in this case, we have 0, -9, and we have 9, 0. All right, so let's sort things out here and see how it goes. Okay, so the calibration was actually tailor-made to accommodate the values. If you observe, what value is the highest and lowest for x and y? Getting this information will help you calibrate your graph properly to get a reasonable scale, a suitable scale. So observing the x, you notice the highest value, x is the first, the highest is 9, and the lowest is -2. So you see that the graph will contain it, -2, 9 is around there, between 8 and 9, 8 and 10, sorry. And for y, the lowest is -9 and the highest is 4. You have 0 all through here, and 4 minus 9. So if you check, it will contain the values. So start with the first. When x is 0, y is 4. When x is 0, y is 4. I'll just come to 4, give a mark. And when x is -2, y is 0. When x is -2, y is 0. So you have it here. Now you just simply use your ruler and draw a line. I'll be using my freehand. I'll be doing freehand sketch here. You see, it's solid, it's thick. If it was this way, if this was the inequality we had, then it will be broken. We'll make it broken, but that's not the case. So it's just solid. It will be broken all through if it was strictly less than. Now move on to the next. But before then, you do writing the equation, which is y minus 2x equals 4. The second, you have 0 and 2. When x is 0, y is 2. When x is 0, y is 2. So that's this point. And when x is 6, y is 0. 0 when x is 6. That's this point. So draw the solid line, and we have this. So the inequality is given by this line, and so this line was gotten from the equation. The equation is 3y plus x. Okay, for the sake of my viewers, I will write it here so that you see it. You have 3y minus plus x is equal to 6. And the third, when x is 0, y is minus 9. When x is 0, y is minus 9, between minus 8 and minus 10. When x is 9, y is 0. So that's this point. Just connect them, and that gives you this. Now, if you notice, these two lines will join if you continue, because it appears they are not parallel. But there's no need concluding at this point. The equation of the line remains y equals x minus 9. That's the equation of the line. Now let's discern the regions that are required. For the first, we said it's below. Said it's below the line. And so let's check. For the first, below the line is, okay, the first, sorry, that's this. So if that's the case, which part gives us a downward flow, or more so a backward move? And that's simply because we see it's moving backwards. The next, we said above the line is required. Okay, so remember the first, below the line is required. We're shading the unrequired region. And the second, above the line, is required. The second. This happens to be the second, and the required region is above the line. So we're going to shade the unrequired region, which is below the line. The first, the required region was below the line, so we shaded the unrequired region. So we'll keep shading the unrequired region so that we'll have more space, we'll have a clearer space in the required region. And for the third, we said above the line is required. Above the line, this is the third. Above the line is required, so we'll be shading below the line. Below the line. Now it's obvious. The required region is this. R is the required region. Thank you for staying with me all this while, and I trust you remain blessed. Remember to take down notes, and if you're new here, please consider subscribing, like, and share the video. Thank you.